anybody who wasn't here could watch it and see how to do it. Although they could watch the last class too. Oh, too dark. Number one is just opposites attract and like charges repel. So the two up on the top right, they attract one another, and these two repel one another. And in the picture, the electron is out here, the proton is one of these things in there, and for number 5, label the charges, electron's negative, proton's positive. When two objects are rubbed together, the particle that gets transferred is the electron. It's because the electrons are on the outside of atoms. So if you rub two things together, the outside part is the part that can come off and move around. Stronger charge is neither. They're equally strong, even though, and they don't show it this way, but even though electrons are much smaller than protons. They show the electrons larger here, which is kind of weird. The net charge on this cat, I think it's a cat, is +3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positive charges. And 1, 2 negative charges. 5 minus 2 is +3. Static electricity, it's called static because charges don't generally move. So with that Van de Graaff generator, it's basically static electricity until you see the little lightning bolt, and then the charges are flowing. But we're focusing on how charges can build up, how you can get something that becomes negative or positive, or something else that becomes negative. And then when you connect those things, that's when charges move. But static just means not moving. Over here, doesn't matter exactly how you did this, as long as you put an even number of positives and negatives in the two things. So I gave my balloon 2 positives and 2 negatives, so it charges 0. And the charge of this one, because it's got 2 positives and 2 negatives, is also 0. If I rub them together, this table tells me that the balloon gains electrons. And it tells me that the glass loses electrons. So the glass had 2 electrons. I just move them over to the balloon. You could move one. I could have moved 1 over also, and that would have demonstrated what happens. But the balloon gets more electrons, and the glass gets fewer. So the charge of this is now +2, and the charge of this is now -2, because it's got 2 positives and 4 negatives, which means -2 overall. But the total charge was 0 in the beginning. 0 plus 0 is 0. 2 plus -2 is 0. The law of conservation of charge just says the total charge stays the same. So that's what I was looking for there. And finally, the balloons sticking to the wall. This is one way to do it. The wall has 0 net charge. So however you draw this, I'm going to check and see if you have the same number of positives and negatives in the wall. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 protons, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 electrons. So the net charge of the wall is 0. The balloon only has a couple of protons, and it's got a bunch of electrons. So I decided to make my balloon negative. So when you bring the balloon over, it's negative. These electrons can move around. It pushes the electrons away from it. That makes this part of the wall positive. So in your diagram, if your balloon's negative, it should be stuck to the wall, and the part of the wall next to it shouldn't have any electrons, so it should be positive, and that's why they stick. You could have done it like this. This isn't really realistic because balloons don't get charged up positively. But if you had a balloon with a whole bunch of positive charges and just a couple of negative charges, so this would be negative, this would be positive, and it comes over to a wall that's got a couple of positive charges and a couple of negative charges like this. What's going to happen here is these other negative charges, which are way back deep in the wall, they're going to get pulled over toward the balloon. So your diagram could look like this. So the wall is still has a net charge of 0 because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 pluses, 1, 2, 3, 4 minuses. But this part of the wall that's right next to the balloon is negative and the balloon is positive, so they stick. Over here, this part of the wall is positive, the balloon is negative, so they stick. You can have things that stick together even though they don't have opposite charges, as long as they have